Okay, we are live. Hello, everybody. It's November already, and there's the next public PrestaShop project demo. This is our eighth session of the year, and today, as always, we prepared for you some project news and demos. So, today with me, I have Tomas Bacelli, who is a PrestaShop core developer and one of the PrestaShop core maintainers, as well as Fabien Vallon, who is a lead product manager for the open source project. And my name is Christian Podemski. I'm PrestaShop Tech Evangelist and one of core maintainers for the PrestaShop open source project. And today we prepared for you a few things. As always, first I will inform you about the event rules, then the project news, and then the demo section where we will talk about the new backoffice API plus what happens next after PrestaShop 8.0 was released. Last but not least, we will have Q&A session at the end of the session. But first thing first, you can use chat to ask questions. At the end of the session, we will host the Q&A session so we can answer your questions. This event is about the PrestaShop open source project, so we don't discuss PrestaShop company stuff here. This event is public, and then after the session, you can watch the replay on YouTube. Last but not least, please abide by the code of conduct of the PrestaShop open source project. So let's discuss about project news first. We have November. We are a week after the regular schedule for public demo, but this is for the reason everyone in the team was focused on PrestaShop 8, and the good news is that PrestaShop 8 is now available. You can read more about PrestaShop 8, and you can read more about the release and everything related to it on the developer blog of the project. I just shared with you the link to the build blog. And as you know, PrestaShop 8 is the first major release since 2016. So it's been some time since we released a major version of the software. But there it is. You can test it now. You can build new stores based on PrestaShop 8. And if you are waiting for the upgrade path from the 1.7, you need to wait a couple weeks more because the team is now working on the new version of the auto upgrade module. So the upgrade path will be available very, very soon, but you need to wait a bit. So this is the main news for today's event, and now let's focus on what you probably like the most, on demos. And we have two exciting demos for today. First one is coming from Thomas, so I will invite him on the stage so he can talk about the new backoffice API, which is maybe coming to PrestaShop 8.1. Hello, Thomas.
Hi.
So I will leave you on
Yeah,
stage. You can share your screen. Enjoy.
yeah. Can you put me on? Can you share my screen directly?
Yep, there we go.
Thank you. Um, so I'm gonna talk about the introduction of a new backoffice API. And the main feature about this new API is that it's built around the CQRS because, as you might know, we have currently an existing web services, but it's like very old. It's not very functioning now, and we need to use the new feature we made to the core for the API. So we need to build a new API. And although the goal is to use the web standards such as OAuth 2 for the authentication. So the demo of today is more about the authentication system, so OAuth 2, than the global API, because that's only what we've done for now. But you can follow everything related to this new API on GitHub directly. So I linked the Epic issue where everything is linked here. And so, as I said, today we're going to talk about the OAuth 2 authorization server. So the goal of this authorization server is to ask for a token that you can use then to query some endpoints that will come later to perform actions or to get data from your store. So to make it more clear, we can just demo it. So here I've got a shop, so it's on the develop branch for now, and I can use a REST software like such as Insomnia to query the API. So here you can see that I have the query is so the shop link admin dev, and the new API / feature flags is a test endpoints for now. But what is more important is that we are using OAuth2 as an authentication. So like the authentication, the access token URL is still on my shop here. So you can see here the shop /admin dev /API /OAuth2 /token. So I can query this URL to get a token. That's what I'm doing here. If I clear the token for now and then I fetch a new token, I have this here, and I can use this token to query the feature flag. So if I send the request, I get the response from the API. And what is good here is that we're using API platform. And so if I change the content type, we can have different response. So here it was JSON. By default, it's a JSON plus LD response, which is a hypermedia type of protocol. And that's the power of API platform. The other thing that is good is that we are not, it's not mandatory to use PrestaShop as an authentication server. Here, if I go back to my shop, here, I've developed a small module that will use Keycloak, which is an open source OAuth2 server. So if I install it like so, and then I go back on Insomnia here, if I try to do the same request again, it won't work now because we are using Keycloak as authentication server and not PrestaShop anymore. So here I've prepared already the right query. You can see that I'm not reaching my store, but the Keycloak instance to get a token. So now if I fetch a token, I get the token from Keycloak, and then when I send the query, now it works. And that's very simple. If we go to the module itself, you can see here it's like a very small module by default. And in the services, the only thing I do is that declaring a new services, which is OAuth2 clients, and it will override the implementation of the OAuth2 interface. And by doing so, we say to PrestaShop to use this service to perform authentication and checks about authorization. If I go to the OAuth2 client here, we can see that we can look at the interface, which is very simple for now. It's just is token valid and get user. And by implementing those two methods in a module, you can have the OAuth2 implementation that you want. So here you can see that is token is valid. I just make a request to my Keycloak server to check that the authorization is valid, like the name is explaining. And here the get user it's a method that should return a Symfony user interface here. I won't go into detail for this method now, but it's very well documented on Symfony and even API platform, if I'm not mistaken. And so yeah, that's mostly the end of this demo for today. But that's the base for the coming PR that will come for the new API system. Don't hesitate to have a look at it, and maybe you can find some you can propose some suggestion about this API. Yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you, Thomas. I didn't see any questions for now, but there's one. I think we don't need to wait to the end of the session to ask those. Gerdusi is asking, is the admin API the replacement for the web service? What's the purpose for the admin API?
For now, it's like it might be a replacement, but only when the new API will be stable enough. I forgot to say that it is very early stage for now, and it will be testing along multiple PrestaShop version, I think. And yeah, at the end of the day, I think that the goal is to get rid of the old web services, but they're gonna live together for a while, I think, and until the new API is enough. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. If anyone have any other questions regarding the API, let us know so we can answer them later. Thank you, Thomas, for your presentation.
Thank you, Christian.
And now I will add Fabien on the stage so he can tell us more about the future of PrestaShop, future in terms of PrestaShop 8.1 and beyond. So Fabien, I'm adding you to the stage. Hello, Fabien.
Hello, Christian. Hello, everyone.
So you have the control over the stream, so you can start.
Okay, thank you. Let me introduce myself. I'm the lead product manager of the open source tribe since 1 year at PrestaShop. And I was working in open source company and open source projects since almost 20 years. So what about the 8.1 and the 9 version? We started a community discovery on March this year. We start with a survey with 42 answers, and we manage some workshop, and we have a different topic about this discovery. What we learn, it's about the top one priority is the performance with many subjects, both from front office and back office, with some very specific issue like pace, connection, tables too big, or some mass invoice generation with a lot of CPU workload. But we also have some very systemic issue like the HTTP cache or the database cache or some slow request. The problem is that we don't have data. We don't have performance monitoring or application performance monitoring. So since September, internally, we start a working group called Quality QA Performance, which will provide a QA performance APM monitoring platform, fully automized, to have this data. So we can notice our improvements, for example, and to have better data to focus on specific problem. And I think this platform could be open to the open source community next year. The second topic is cart rules and pricing. Everyone that has looked this code know that it could be a real mess, and because we do not understand all the ramification technically, functionally of this code. So we started retro engineering since March, and it's done. It's very huge and messy, but it's done. This month we are launching interview for merchants. So if you are a merchant or if you know merchant can be interested by this interview and workshop, please contact us or contact Christian. So now for the 8.1. What are the PrestaShop initiatives? The first one is to finish what we started with the product page, which is an important and huge page. The migration to Symfony, and especially for this part, a focus on the multi-store feature. The idea is to have a better stability, to be more pleasant to develop with Symfony. And we also had some new feature that will increase merchant productivity, such as a better management of image across shop and categories and so on. The second big initiative is image system improvement. We will add some image markup, picture and source set. And with these markups, the browser can choose the most suitable format according to its compatibility, for example, for the screen pixel density. With this feature, you will have a better image loading performance, depending on your browser, depending on your screen, and a better team experience. This feature, image system improvement, will be included and will work not with the classic team, but with the new team, Hummingbird, which is the third initiative. It will not be by default in the 8.1, but should be by default the default theme in the 9. Maybe people know about this theme. It started last year. You can check out a good article about it if you want. We want for PrestaShop a better theme, a modern theme, and something that you can use for your theme development, and some kind of a best practice. And it would be also easier to improve theme in the future with Hummingbird. And the last big feature is API security. Thomas already talked about it. I would add it's not only about OAuth security, but it's also to separate security level by application, by field, by scope. For example, you can have a scope called module management API to install modules from endpoints. You can have a scope called stock management, for example, and each scope have its own security. And this strategy, security strategy plus versioning strategy, it could be also be used for example, to develop a front office API, not only for web services. In the 8.1, you will have another quick win, another other bug fix, but I just described here the four big initiatives for us. About the 9.0, I think we will try to rework on the cart rules and pricing. The idea is to make it more modular and to also to have a better performance, and also to improve some UX UI issue and to have a better ease of use. Then it's a big challenge. We will start probably some to fix some performance issue with the application monitoring platform. It will be easier for us to focus on it, to fix it, and to follow the improvement, and to follow the API strategy is scope by scope. To implement a new endpoint based on our CQRS and by scope. This could be PrestaShop Tribe open source, but it could be other contributor, of course. And we already start discovery for the 9.0, and we have some ideas from like a new import export page for the product, maybe a new upgrade system, and so on. And I have a last word about it. What I present here, it's PrestaShop, a Tribe open source initiative for the project. Feel free to join our initiative, and obviously you can create your own. You're welcome. Do you have any question?
Thank you, Fabien. I don't see any questions right now on the chat, but I would have one. You told us that we can join two initiatives. Could you elaborate on it? What's the best way to help you guys to work on API or on cart rules or any other initiatives that is owned by the Tribe open source?
I think the best way to join the initiative is to join the GitHub discussion and discussion on Slack. So if you're interested, you can ping me or you or Thomas, and we will include you in your initiatives.
Okay, great. And I assume that it's the same for our own initiatives. It's a matter of contacting us either through Slack or through GitHub issues.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you, Fabien. If you have any questions to Fabien or to us about PrestaShop 8.1 or V9, let us know. Thank you, Fabien. So that's basically it for today. Today we have a bit shorter demo, but if anyone have any other questions regarding the PrestaShop project, let us know. I will change the slide. So are there any other questions about API, about PrestaShop 8.1, maybe about PrestaShop 8 in general, or the project in general? We had some questions about the Hummingbird theme. No, sorry, about classic theme. Hugh asked where he can download the assets folder, the developer assets folder for the classic theme. And as you might know, the classic theme is now in a dedicated repository. I shared the link on the chat, so you can see that the classic theme is now being added to the main project through Composer. So if you want to download the developer version of Classic, you can go to this repository and download everything. Also, talking about the Hummingbird, I think it's worth mentioning that the maintainers responsible for the Hummingbird have just released the first alpha version of Hummingbird. So if you want to test it, you can go to the GitHub repository of the Hummingbird theme. There's the link. And if there are no more questions, I think we can finish for today. So thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Fabian, for your presentations. Thank you for everyone who is watching. And we will see you in December for the last session of the year, possibly with the first patch version of PrestaShop 8 being released, and maybe auto upgrade module for the upgrades from 1.7 to 8. So if you have any other questions, you can also join our open source Slack. I will share the link on the chat. And if there are no questions, thank you for everyone. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Fabian, again, and see you in December. Bye.